Hi, Kim. It's hard to nitpick that last game, but is there anything you'd like to see your team do better tomorrow night that you didn't see?
Well, obviously, I'm going to always nitpick it. I just think we've just got to continue to get better defensively. I'm not looking at the score. I'm looking at our team, individual players, things from stopping them from penetrating so much with the ball in their hands, talking on defense. A couple of times in transition defense, we didn't pick up people. You can't ever just stop on the defensive end, and we every day we just got to get better defensively. Of course, I wanted to gripe about the free throws we missed, and y'all informed me. Well, you shot 77% from the free throw line, but 13 free throws missed is a lot because you're not normally going to shoot that many free throws like we did the other night. But I would say overall, assist to turnover ratio, I'd like it to be better. I just thought defense, when we broke it down and showed them some things, they see where their feet are not right. They see where they're not on help side, things like that.
You had said that you probably it would be probable that you wouldn't use the same starting lineup, or possible. But are you considering just throwing out a new starting lineup or a
No,
different starting
no,
lineup at all?
no. I've got 8 to 9 kids in the rotation right now, and it doesn't matter who starts. Your 3 main people are going to be Alexis Morris, Angel Reese, and LaDeja. Those are the 3 that have the most experience, have a lot of talent, and then you've got youth around them, and you've got transfers around them, and it can be anybody. But you just want to play. You want to get relevant minutes.
Coach, you signed a great recruiting class this week, and talk about all your years recruiting. Is it gotten a lot more intense? Is there a lot more negative recruiting since when you started decades ago? How are the battles now compared to, say, 20 years ago?
Well, you still have battles in recruiting. The recruiting is the lifeblood of all of our programs. The difference is everybody seems to know more because of all the social media and things like that. But recruiting is the same in that there are certain players that can elevate a program, and we're all trying to recruit those players. I think a big part of our recruiting, and it's always been, even when I was starting out, is you have to beat the bushes and you have to find those players that are going to be your glue players. Not just the superstars. Anybody can walk in a gym and within 5 minutes tell you who the most talented players are. We're looking for those players, obviously, but we're also looking for those players that will play a role, for those glue players, for those that will run through a wall for you, those great defensive players. It takes work. I've always said this, and I still believe this. A big difference between the women's game and the men's game is in the women's game, you have a handful of just the great, probably more than a handful, but you just have those great impact players. On the men's side, there's just hundreds of them. But in women's basketball, while it has gotten better, it doesn't equate with the men on those impact players, the number.
Kim, and to that point, the day that you took this job, if someone would have told you that yesterday you would have signed the top rated recruiting class, would that have been something that you would have believed the day you took this job?
Well, I probably wouldn't have let them ask me. I probably would have said, I can't live that far in the future. What I can tell you, if I had been asked that, is we're going to recruit. We're going to recruit hard. We're going to win some of those battles, and we're going to lose some of those battles. We are so excited that class has been ranked number 1 in the country. Why? Because it brings attention to LSU, to our program. It doesn't bring wins. It doesn't bring championships. And I can say that and relate it to my first championship team in '05. Those kids didn't have numbers in front of their names. So you can't get caught up into numbers because that's someone's opinion, and you got to work. You got to evaluate what you're looking for. But we welcome the ranking because we're trying to become relevant. We're chasing people not only in our league but across the country that have established programs for long periods of time, and we're working. We're working hard.
You mentioned the parallels to men's basketball recruiting. It looks like you and Coach McMahon might have a similar dilemma. I'm unaware of any men's players in Louisiana that have an offer from him, and I don't think you got Michaela obviously yesterday, but Louisiana looks like there's nobody that you have offered yet. Is the state going to yield you glue players or?
Well, you think that, right?
Okay.
There's some things that we don't talk about publicly until, one, we're allowed to, and two, that's part of recruiting. We kind of stay close to the vest. And so this state will always have great players. If you go back to the history of my being at Baylor and I started from Faraday, Louisiana. Monique Jones came and played for me. She's got her championship ring. The list goes on. Kalani Brown, Moon Urson. I'm going to stay in this state first, and we're going to do our homework, and then we'll go to the regional area, and then we'll pick some out nationally. It comes and goes in cycles, but don't assume that is the best answer I can give you.
Angel certainly showed some of her promise in game one. How has she been coming off of that as getting the coaching? I read one of the things Grant wrote was just she wanted to be coached hard by you, right? It's one of the reasons she came here. How has she been in that regard?
Angel, as you guys that watch this, she's just she's just strong. She's a beast, and as I told y'all, I can't tell if she's left-handed or right-handed half the time. She just goes up so effortless and doesn't even have to jump half the time, and she's embraced what we're trying to do here, and she understands that, and she wants to be a leader, and she is one of our captains, and that was important to her. And some of the players, it's not important. It brings added responsibilities. She wanted all of that. I anticipate that every time we practice, she's going to be the same player, and she has to be. If you're going to be a captain and you're going to get all the accolades of being one of the good players, great players in the game today, with that comes a lot of recognition.
Kim, do you think you could quantify how much the LSU brand means, and can you separate it from players wanting to come and play for you as opposed to, is the LSU brand still strong?
Jim, it's funny you ask that because I get in these arguments with my staff. I don't view myself the way you guys view me. I don't view myself. I'm just a little country girl from Louisiana, and it'll always be that way. I don't view my comments or my statements as just impactful or carry weight. I don't view myself that way, because if you start viewing yourself that way, then you change as a person, and I'm never going to change. We talk about, how did we do this #1 class in the country? Well, let's write the pros and cons as a staff so that the next class we get, we can still be ranked up there. And so we have these conversations, and of course the coaches are like, Kim, it's who you are. It's what you have done. And I'm like, no, it's not. And yet my comeback to them is, this day and age, brand matters. This day and age, NIL things matter. Season tickets matter. And when you see recruits come and observe and watch that, to me, that is as impactful as me being the coach they're coming to play for. But that's the way I view it. And I understand each individual recruit is different. I have never been at a flagship university. I've been 3 places, Louisiana Tech, Baylor, and here. I've never been in a football stadium with 100,000+ people staying till the end and screaming. I've never seen the brand across the campus like you have here. And it's been eye-opening for me. And we are getting in recruits' homes before we've ever won a championship here. So it has to be a combination maybe of all of it. So it's funny you ask that, because we have these conversations in staff meetings.
And secondly, just a little bit about Mississippi Valley and what the challenges there.
Now I'm going to shoot you straight. We'll do our scouting report on them today. So, we know that they're going to play. They played their first game last night against Mississippi State. You guys can go see the score. We're going to make sure we're prepared for a 1-2-2 defense, a 1-3-1, all kind of zones that we can be. I'll say this for tomorrow's game and Sunday's game. It's about us. No matter what I see on film, no matter what we show them on film, how much we show them on film, what we do with the scouting report, this is really about us right now. It's about what we do every day. I can leave a practice and have my next practice plan ready based upon what I just saw. I may not even go think much about that last game because I need to think about things for the future. So it's about us right now getting better, and it's always going to start on the defensive end with me.
Kim, football coaches talk a lot about this, but I'm curious from your perspective, from game 1 to game 2, how much, I guess, improvement in play do you expect, especially out of the younger ladies on the team, like the Flages, and also, I guess, is Alicia going to be available for you guys tomorrow?
That's a good question. I'll find out today. She did practice some yesterday. It's a hip flexor deal, and if you've ever had that, that pretty much can nag you all year, so you got to be careful with that. Basketball's different than football, as you guys know. That's 11 weeks, and you got a week in between games. Our sport, as you're seeing, we're going to play games boom, boom, boom. I don't know that you're going to see the vast improvement after 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 games. It's too jammed in there. Give me time. Give me time and evaluate this team months and months down the road. You can't evaluate our team, honestly, with a non-conference schedule. You can stop and evaluate individual players and what they're doing better. But I think that the tale of our team will be when we get to some of the Christmas games we play, or I should say the holiday games where it's away from the PMAC, playing against teams who have just a ton of experience. I watched Ohio State the other night against Tennessee, guys. Why did Ohio State never lose their composure when they were down double figures? There's one word. They've got 6 seniors on that team that have been playing together. They were so smooth. The ones who are not smooth and who are not smooth early are the ones that you're trying to piece it together. Like I've told you, our theme is those that have all this abundance of returning talent, they're just picking up from where they left off the previous year.
Got time for a couple more questions.
Yeah, Coach, but for those who haven't seen Michaela Williams play basketball, how would you best summarize the talent that's about to?
It feels weird even talking about her because I've always had to say, I can't talk about recruiting. We can talk about recruiting, okay? Those 4 young ladies are going to bring excitement to us, to the program. But you specifically ask about Michaela. Strong will be the first thing you notice. You'll look at her body, and she's college ready. The second thing you will notice when you watch her play is she can play anywhere, as a lot of them can, in high school. If you need her to go post, she'll go post. If you need her to bring her the ball up the floor, she can do that. If you need her to shoot a 3, she can do that. If you need to go get a big rebound, she can do that. And she's doing it within a team that's really good. They went double, triple overtime for the state championship against Ponchatoula last year. She's very unselfish. Very unselfish. In fact, I have conversations with her a lot about it's okay to take over a game. That's her mindset. She's got both parents college basketball players. She's always in the gym, always. Not just in the gym in high school. She's up early in the morning working out with trainers. Just can't get enough of it. And then on top of that, she's just an outstanding student. Makes good grades. When you talk to her, she is very quiet. You're not going to look at her and she's not just going to wow you with being a showboat or anything like that. She's going to wow you with, ooh, that she's college ready.
At this age, how would you compare her to Simone Augustus back in the day?
Well, see, you want to get me in trouble by answering
knew
that.
you'd-
Simone Augustus today, Sylvia Fowles, Tamika Johnson, gosh, you can't make those kind of players. Those kind of players were just unbelievable. You don't compare. It's like children. I would never tell you this player I coached and this player I coached. You know, you don't compare them. You can't. Their games are so different. Simone was a thinner build. Simone might be a little bit taller, but I don't know that. I'd have to put them side by side. Michaela's probably 5'10", 5'11", right at 6 foot, somewhere in there. Simone didn't really, in college, have to go out and shoot the three that much. This kid can shoot the three. I would say different type players because of the positions that they really play. Is that a good answer that doesn't get me in trouble? Let's get that statue up of Simone quickly, right? We're working on it.
Thanks, guys.
All right.